Trinidad and Tobago, dramatic scenes of juvenile bottlenose dolphin that beached itself in a fishing area in Orange Valley, Cuba. And the mammal, and yes, I guess a lot of people didn't know that. I think it's dolphins are classified as mammals. They were struggling on the coastline, and residents basically called the authorities. They didn't know what to do. The dolphin beached itself. A dramatic 2-day rescue took place, and today we're speaking to two of the rescuers who are out there in this mission, Dr. Carla Phillips and Dr. Seukeran. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Now, Dr. Phillips, let me start with you. Is this an unusual occurrence, and what was the call like when you got it?
It's not too unusual, actually. This has actually been the 7th reported case of a marine mammal stranding that we've responded to this year thus far.
Is that unusually high?
No, we average about 6 cases or so per year, so we're just about hoping that we don't get any more for the year. But that's roughly what we've been getting over the last 5 years or so, roughly 6 per year. Yeah.
In terms of this rescue, was it any more difficult than any of the other rescues that you've done before?
I must have done about 15 or 20 rescues so far, right? And we started doing this since about 2006. What was different about this rescue is that it was a live dolphin, and there was just so many other people involved in it, and this dolphin in particular was, it changed very much. When we actually got there, we didn't know if it was healthy or not. It was hardly moving, and by the time we had finished 3 hours later, that thing was swimming faster than the boat.
And in terms of the reason for beaching itself, do you have any idea as to what may have caused it? A lot of times when you see dolphins, they move in packs.
Yes.
And also in addition to that, it's I know with just looking at the National Geographic, so I'm not an expert, but it would be sonar activity or any other sort of explosion that would sort of send them off completely.
There are a number of reasons that an animal would strand, and usually if an animal that typically travels as a group strands singly, usually we must look for a disease, something wrong with the animal. Usually there's an illness involved. Or if that's not the case, yes, certainly anything that would disrupt its ability to navigate, so sonar activity, yes, has been one of those well-known causes of animals essentially going off course. And things like trauma as well, boat strikes, human interaction, getting caught in a net and essentially getting pulled near shore. These are some of the more common causes that an animal would come inland, yeah.
Dr. Seukeran, is the second dolphin to beach itself in that area in a short period of time? Is that something that's kind of piquing your interest a little bit?
Yes, very much so. The last one that beached in that exact area was actually a whale that was actually towed out to sea, and it's the second time that we've had a stranding in that area, and it's the second time actually that it's actually been a live one that's actually been towed out and disappeared after a while. So yes, I am very curious as to what brings them there.
In terms of the advice to residents and to beachgoers on a whole, because we do live on an island and you see these events every now and then, what do you want people to know?
First and foremost, they are charismatic animals, so we're kind of drawn to them, and many people would want to help, and that's commendable. But we must remember that these animals actually can have diseases that can potentially be passed on to us, so we need to be careful with the human interaction aspect of things. But if a beachgoer or a villager happens to see an animal that is in distress, we really want you to call us out. You can do so by contacting, if it's during the regular working day, you can call the Wildlife Division, or if it's after hours, certainly you can call the police and they'll get in contact with us, or you can call us directly, contact the Stranding Network.
Dr. Seukeran, as we wrap this interview, because it's really about just highlighting what's taking place and looking at the possibility. The fishing nets is another possibility, and I know that we've been talking about the fact that our fishermen are not properly equipped and they're not properly educated in terms of proper conduct to get that balance of the flora and the fauna, our needs and the needs of the ecosystem. What do you want the government to really do, or those who are charged with getting the policy right? What do you want them to know when we see situations like this?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that the fishermen are probably our greatest asset, because they actually see what's happening on that coast, and they're often the first people to call us. And you're asking, if I'm wondering what actually happened at that spot for 2 strandings to occur. And you get so much information from the fishermen. The fishermen were telling us that we noticed that the dolphin was going to the areas which are colder, where the rivers are coming out. They also noticed that there were times when she seemed to be going to areas where the mud was warmer. Maybe she wanted to actually rest on that. As far as the government goes, we would you don't need to be high tech to do a lot of work with marine mammal stranding. You can learn a lot from that, and we would really like efforts to be made to make sure that fishermen and the coast generally know exactly what to do in these situations, so they can get some basic first aid training and they know exactly who to contact, and that the network becomes activated so that all government agencies respond quickly.
Closing comments. As let's speak to the fishermen as well, because they are our greatest assets. I mean, look at what's happening. And people indiscriminately dump. We also still have the sonar activity that's taking place. We have a number, and we do have a number of wildlife that actually frequent the areas, the periphery of the Caribbean shores in Trinidad. Your closing comments, Phillips.
These are treasures. These are Caribbean treasures. These animals, they are beautiful. We need to take care of them, and a big part of taking care of them is ensuring that we keep our coasts clear, our coasts clean, we keep our waters clean, and we do our best to ensure that if we do come into contact with them, we do not do things like, we see people wanting to cut into them and, we taking pictures, riding them, all these sorts of things. That's not acceptable. Really, we need to take care of our wildlife. They're treasures.
They definitely are treasures, and I know that we have some footage to share with you. We've been sharing it throughout this interview. Take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you about a business success coach and why you should be interested.